Which for our friends and family not familiar with the river, you are rowing against the current.
You are
when
rowing
racing.
against the current. So if the river's moving, it's the old relative motion thing from a GPS standpoint. And we have our crew coming, so I'll pause in a second. The other thing that was going on last year was the wind on Saturday and Sunday switched around to east and southeast. So the guy shut the locks, the river starts filling up. The wave piles up down at the river, and then it starts rolling upstream. So then it's like the treadmill's going backwards, which is to your advantage. So the river was dead still on Saturday and Sunday. Plus, you had a tailwind over probably half the course.
So
there goes. That's how you take 30 seconds off a course record.
This is Pocock Rowing Club for the Women's Senior Master Fours. They placed third last year. It seems RCA and Marlowe opted to compete in other events. So Pocock got to claim the number one bow. But yes, by having that build up down to the basin, is basically you got a free push right around the corner and down the powerhouse.
Yeah. Now, your course also has an extraordinary impact on your time. If you figure you're moving somewhere between 4 and 5 meters a second. Yeah, okay, sorry. Back.
So out in front we have Willamette and then Alexandria. So that's from Portland, Oregon and Alexandria, Virginia. Alexandria placed fifth last year, so I'm sure they're looking to get up on the podium this year.
So if you go straight up the middle of the river, it's 4,800 meters.
And in the purple hull, we have Narragansett.
With the white blades, blue stripes. Go Narragansett. 4,800 meters up the middle of the river. The way they theoretically lay the course line, it's 4,702.
Yes, theoretically, which
but that's allowed.
Drift,
But that's also assuming a certain safe margin off the buoys.
Yes.
So then you can put it on the buoys, and some of the time trials here, people will be showing course distances, like I said before, in the low 4,500s.
Yeah, which if you're putting rigger over buoy, that's
or
going to be
scraping your oars on the Boston shore.
A fraction every single stroke.
Right.
So this is bow number 8 approaching us. So a little bit of a jump. That's Marin.
So you can have a spectacular set of conditions, but if you've got to swing wide on somebody, or you've got to slow down because somebody's, you're waiting for somebody to yield the line, the things that go into a course record are to some degree largely out of your control.
With the Orange Blades, that's Endeavor Rowing Alliance, and then behind them is Quinsigamond Rowing, approaching the bridge now. Yes, if there's a collision ahead of you, a slow crew, anything can happen that could negatively impact your targeted time. And we have Hudson River in the red caps, blue hull. 10.
Followed by Saugatuck on the Boston shore.
That 8 is still in purgatory over there.
Feel the anticipation building for the Alumni 8s.
The Alumni 8s event is going to be
How about
great.
a nice vacation weekend in Boston? Let's go to the head of the Charles.
Yeah.
Let's take everybody. Everybody is showing up on the Elliott Bridge right now.
So this is one of our Canadian visitors, Dawn Rowing from Ontario.
White oars, blue stripe down the middle. Followed by Prince William. Dark red on the outside, black on the inside of the oars, white hull. Followed by Vesper, gray on top of dark red. And in the yellow boat, having port go quiet while they hug the buoys coming around the turn.
Yes. That would be Mount Baker, bow number 5. Yes, they're using the power of the rowers more than their rudder to control their steering. They placed 7th last year, and instead they've been training to try
looks like
to.
they might have an equipment issue.
I think they're having a mechanical problem since their 2-seat is not rowing at all, even now that they're through the bridge.
Oh, 2 seats back into it now. Sort of.
No, it's 2 seats still not rowing.
Yep.
They specifically put in their bio that they've been training all year to try and break the record. So I was surprised to not see them in our first clump of crews.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they had a rigger failure or a seat failure somewhere along the course. Which again, anything can happen on race day. If your equipment fails, it fails. It's outside of your control.
Yep. Do it again next year.
In front of us now, approaching the bridge, BMA, Cornell alumni.
Cornell alums. And then Capital from Washington, D.C. With the distinctive gold and black oars, Baltimore Rowing Club. Who are leading with the white oars with the red stripes on the outside. San Diego Rowing Club in the red hull.
Yes, the Baltimore teams are always easy to spot because of they emulate the Baltimore flag, the yellow and black checkerboard.
San Diego crews are also similarly usually easy to spot because they tend to be fast.
Yes, they do. And approaching us on the buoy line, Sammamish Rowing Association coming out of Washington. And taking the turn a little bit wider on the Cambridge side, we have Intrepid Rowing Club from Iowa. And approaching Cambridge now with the purple, gold, and green blades, Gentle Giant Rowing Club, rowing out of Somerville. They row on the Mystic River. Similarly complicated course to navigate, so I'm sure their coxswain feels very at home here on the Charles. They're trying to hold off bow number 22, Los Gatos, from Los Gatos, California. And looks like we have a pack of 4, maybe 5 crews coming around the corner, and now any minute. Hudson River. Out in front is Hudson River. That's Hudson River entering the bridge, and then Martha's Moms coming from Seattle.
Yeah, and then Three Rivers from Pittsburgh.
And a crew that lost their bow number. Not sure who they are. They appear to be wearing blue Henleys with white visors, blue and yellow blades. This is another Greenwich crew. They've been wearing a high-vis green kit all weekend.
passing in front of CBC, bow number 30 from Seattle, Washington, Kona Bear.
Sounds like we have some Kona Bear fans up on the bridge.
It's bow 28.
Yeah, CBC.
And bow number 28. Let's hear it for Cambridge Boat Club.
CBC.
Courtney, Cindy, Dee, and Laura. They've been competing for over 50 years.
Uh, 26.
And from Greenwood Lake, New York, East Arm. These are all graduates of they're A+ graduates of the East Arm Adult Learn to Row program. Welcome to the head.
Yes, rowing is a sport that you can join at any point in your life. 35.
35? 35?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 35.
Yep. And moving up nicely, bow number 35, USD alumni,
31.
followed by bow number 31 from the Northampton crew.
29 overtaking 33.
And we have 29, Recovery on Water, overtaking bow 33, Row, New Jersey.
Which that
This
overtake
is Row, New Jersey's first trip to the head.
that,
Welcome
that
to Boston.
overtake stalled a little bit. Row, New Jersey is not letting them get away from them. I can hear those coxswains making some noise.
Is this it for us?
Yeah, women's grandmaster. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Supposed to be Alexander Packard.
So he's taking over.
Yeah, if we have.
Okay, let's call these two and do some sponsor stuff.
That is 34.
And from Chincoteague, Virginia, Avalon. The bio for Chincoteague says, for Avalon says, "Hi, Mom."
Yes, like we said, you write it, we read it.
We know you're out there, Mom.
We'll go through and sanitize and make sure there's nothing controversial.
Yeah,
or
the one thing,
any
Mom.
dirty jokes.
Hey,
but
Mom. Next year, if you come here, it's even better.
32.
And bow number 32, King's Crown, from Hoboken, New Jersey.
Columbia alumni.
King's Crown, of course, is up at the joining of the Hudson and the Harlem. Okay, couple of quick sponsor recognitions. First off, the oars that you've seen coming up this course, the very large majority of them are made by Concept 2. Concept 2 is the official oar and erg supplier of the Head of the Charles Regatta. They're debuting a new concept over at the tent this year. Go check it out. It's being released for the first time ever here. So head over to the Concept 2 tent, say hello to them, and talk about your next oars and sculls.
I do want to check it out because it's a rehash of the dyno, right?
Okay, a couple more crews coming.
I think this is the next event. Yeah, it's bout number 1.
Up.
All right, next up, event number 22, Women's Grandmaster 4s. New course record set last year by East Arm, who is right in front of us right now. That is East Arm from New York. They set the course record last year of 20 minutes, 7 seconds.
And we're going to start to do a transition here and announcing. So this is Greg Benning. Thank you for putting up with me all morning. To everyone on the Elliott Bridge, you're going to have some great racing coming at you in the next few hours. And with that, I'll turn this mic over to Xander Packard.
And you're still stuck with me for another 3 hours. So bout number 2 is Chinook. Again, that's another Rolodex crew. This is their 10th anniversary, and this is one of their lightweight programs. And I will let my co-announcer here briefly get settled and introduce himself, and we will continue with our event announcing.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Xander Packard. It's a pleasure to join you on the roof of Cambridge Boat Club announcing this next set of races. We got some exciting boats coming up the course.
Yeah. So just if you got to talk offline, either cover or
Yeah. Do you have a preference on spotting versus announcing, or how do you guys work?
we've just kind of been going back and forth.
Okay.
In front of us right now is Quinsigamond Rowing Club. That's, of course, rowing out of Lake Quinsigamond, the border between Shrewsbury and Worcester. One of the best race courses on the East Coast. Hey, good announcement with you, Greg. Good to see you. And a little bit of a shakeup. We have bow number 5 entering the bridge now. That's Narragansett, who have overtaken bow number 4. We haven't seen them yet, because that is North Suburban in front of us with those red hats. And we have a little bit of a gap here.
So just to recap, this is the Women's Grandmasters 4s, which is the 60-plus age group. We've got a course record here that was set just last year by East Arm of 2007. They just narrowly knocked off the previous course record by about a second. And as Greg and Jonathan were mentioning in the previous event, course records don't normally fall by 30 seconds. They often fall by a second or 2 or 3. So,
or less.
Or less.
Like we saw earlier this morning. We had a course record set by a third.
That's right. We've got 20 competitors coming up the course in this event. And coming up in front of us now.
Yes, we have 2 crews side by side on the buoy line in turquoise. That is White Marsh Boat Club. They have turquoise and black blades. It almost looks like the reeds coming up in a marsh.
That's right. And then on the outside of the turn here, we have Narragansett, bow number 7. Both boats approaching Elliott Bridge right now. Let's hear it for these 2 crews.
Yes, really love the race line on both of those. It's all about strategy of what do you want? Do you want the closer race line on this corner or the more competitive line at the next corner? And approaching us now in the black hull, that is Lake Washington out of Seattle.
This Lake Washington crew is actually returning to defend their title from last year in the Veterans Women's 4.
I got to see if I can plug in my iPad for results.
Approaching the bridge now, we have Conabear Rowing Club out of Seattle, bow number 10. Followed by bow number 14, Endeavor Racing. This is kind of exciting. Bow number 14 has already passed 3 crews as they head into Elliott Bridge. Let's hear it for Endeavor Rowing. Endeavor Racing Alliance. That's Olivia Petrine, Christine Malcolm, Allison Hunt, Ruth Kennedy Sedith, and Janet Lancaster. Coming into the bridge now, we have bow number 13, Lake Merritt.
So again, we are trying to report unofficial results as we get them. Again, this is unofficial, but it looks like, assuming this time stands, East Arm broke their own record.
Well, that's pretty exciting.
Previous record was 20:07, and they just came in with 20:03.9. So that's a more standard record-breaking time of
Right.
shaving off 2 or 3 seconds off of 20 minutes. Some of these times that we were talking about earlier, and you'll hear later today, of shaving off 30 seconds is unheard of here on the Charles.
Bow number 12 approaching the bridge. This is Chinook, Karen Stryker, Adrian Bryan, Susan Hamby, Alyssa Casella, and Paula Cron-Merkel.
Which again, high-performance Rolodex crew. You just call everybody up. You do virtual training, virtual testing, and then you have mandatory on-the-water camps. And approaching us now, Northern Virginia, bow number 15 in the red hull, white blades, white hats. And right on their tail, bow number 17, Sammamish.
Coming around the bend here, we have bow number 11 from Avalon of Chincoteague, Virginia. And then on the outside of the turn, Ottawa, working their way around a little bit of a wider turn, but passing as they approach Elliott Bridge.
Yes, as Greg was mentioning before, that if you don't take the idealized race line, specifically on this corner, you can add an extra 50 to 100 meters to your race, which maybe that doesn't sound like a lot, but after 15 minutes, an extra 100 meters sounds pretty horrible.
Absolutely. That can be 20 or 30 seconds right there.
Approaching us now is bow number 16, Upper Valley Rowing from Hanover, New Hampshire. And we hear a bit of cheering from here at CBC as our CBC athletes, Cambridge Boat Club athletes, return to the dock after a successful race. And approaching Elliott Bridge is now Green Lake from Seattle, Washington. There are 20 competitors in this event. We're still waiting on, I believe, one more crew, which we can see coming around the corner. The coxswain is doing a great job on the buoy line. For those of you up on the bridge who can't quite see the buoys, what we're referring to is there's a edge line of what is called the inbounds racing area. Those are the orange buoys. And the coxswain is trying to put the hull of the boat as close to the buoys as possible. So if you're feeling particularly confident in your crew and your balance and your steering, the coxswain will actually put the buoys underneath each of the riggers. Now that's a high-risk, high-reward maneuver since you can shave off 10, 15 seconds on this turn.
That's right.
But a random gust of wind or somebody misses a catch slightly, and you could wrap yourself up with the anchoring cable of that buoy.
This particular set of events, these coxed fours are uniquely able to hold the buoy line as they go around because the coxswain lies down in the front of the boat and has an unimpeded view, ideally, of the buoy line, and can literally, if they steer the course well, they can literally set the boat up so that the rowers